And if you live in Ottawa and work every day with politicians, you learn there are only two types of politicians. And it's not Liberals and Conservatives, it's not Greens and Browns, it's politicians who care and stand up for our industry and politicians who fail to do that. And it's the first type who we love, and one man who has proven himself to be the right type of politician, the type who stands up for our industry, is the Honourable Gary Lunn, and he's agreed to speak to us briefly today. Minister, the podium is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Avram, for that kind introduction. Also, thank you to the organizers for a podium that I can see over. I'm not always blessed with that. Bonjour tout le monde, c'est un plaisir d'être ici aujourd'hui. You can tell me what I just said after. And first, let me say that the size and the international makeup of this conference is extremely impressive. I do want to pay tribute to our hosts, the Forest Products Association of Canada, the Pulp and Paper Technical Association of Canada, for putting on such a wonderful event. Now, just before I get into my formal remarks, and I appreciate your comments, Avram, but I don't know if you're aware of actually how much I owe the forest industry. It is a great deal. I was talking with Jim Shepard, and I actually used to work for Crestbrook Forest Industries, which is now Tembec. I've worked for Slocan Forest Products. And if I may, I'll just share a little story with you, how indebted I am and how important it is for you to succeed. When I was working for Crestbrook, my now father-in-law was the president, Stuart Lang, and I was a journeyman carpenter. I was in the trades with the company and then as a safety officer. Anyways, to make a long story short, I built furniture as a hobby. One day I got a call. The president wanted to see me up at his house. He wants this bar built, the library built. I said, this guy's nuts. We're not going to do this. Anyways, I went up to his house. He asked me if I would wait a half an hour. He was going to be delayed. And he invited his daughter down to entertain me. And at that moment, I realized I had to get back in the house. I built a lot of things. So the forest industry gave me a great wife, and so I have a great appreciation for that. And again, I look forward to making sure that we succeed and move forward together. Now, as you know, Paperweek is known as the main event in the calendar of the Canadian pulp and paper industry. The wood products industry is also deeply involved and well represented here today. Before I actually focus on the forest sector, I would like to spend a moment on just a few other areas. It's just over 1 year ago that we were elected, and our government has been focused on achieving results. We've lowered taxes, we've reduced debt, we've given family new choices, we're building infrastructure, we're investing in research, we're cracking down on crime, we're making governments more accountable. And we've unveiled practical measures to clean up the environment and to protect the health of Canadians. One of my, I believe one of the greatest changes we've seen in Ottawa, though, is our new Prime Minister. Our Prime Minister has shown he's focused, he's committed to action, he's impressive on the world stage, and above all, we have never seen such leadership in Ottawa in many, many years. Now, we're also working on a number of initiatives that are touching your industries. We worked in partnership to settle the softwood lumber dispute, which is seeing over $5 billion flowing back to the industry, which is also providing certainty for your industry, which is especially important in a difficult market. In British Columbia, where 50% of the softwood produced is also facing another extraordinary challenge, the mountain pine beetle. Our government has made a long-term commitment over the next 10 years. Last month, we announced $200 million in combating the mountain pine beetle. We recently announced a new national program to help older workers in vulnerable communities that often rely on a single employer industry, such as forestry. We've announced a 2-year, $72 million program, targeted initiative for older workers, which will be available to every corner of the country. And even more specific to my department, we announced a $2 billion eco-energy initiatives. We're looking at a focused approach. How can we combat the problem and the challenges it faces? Specifically, we announced $230 million for science and technology to clean up conventional energy. Another $300 million on energy efficiency programs for the consumer. The largest untapped source of energy in this country is the energy we waste. And I know there's a lot of people out there in the mills who recognize that, and they've done a lot to combat that as well. But another one of our announcements was a $1.5 billion program to bring in more clean energy, 4,000 megawatts of renewable clean energy. And this is something that we looked at, and we've expanded it. In the past, it's only been open to wind. We've expanded this to include things like tidal, solar, small hydro, but also biomass. Biomass is eligible under this program, which will be a direct benefit, I believe, to your industry, and we welcome your participation in that program as well. I want to emphasize that the Government of Canada is committed to the forest industry. Our Canadian forest industry remains the largest exporter of forest products in the world. You constitute an economic powerhouse, contributing almost 3% to Canada's GDP and 11% of our exports. That's more than $44 billion a year. In addition, your industry has made considerable progress in improving its environmental performance, both in its industrial processes and advancing sustainable forest management. Global demand for forest products is steadily increasing by approximately 3% each and every year. At present, Canada is bar none the best source of sustainable, high-quality forest products. The fact remains, however, that Canada's forest sector is facing a number of serious challenges. New competitors are entering global markets. Their emergence is driven by advances in technology, cheaper wood, faster-growing trees, lower labor costs, and lighter regulatory burdens. Like other sectors, your industry is also facing issues entirely outside your control, such as forest pests, increasing energy prices, high Canadian dollar, and a declining U.S. housing market. Now, this is not to say that these challenges are insurmountable or that the Canadian forest industry hasn't made progress in responding to them. Your industry is to be commended for the steps it has taken to adjust to these new realities. Converting production to higher value products is a strategy being aggressively pursued. In addition, innovative uses of pulp and paper and forest residues, biomass, and bioenergies are being advanced. As you well know, there have been significant social and economic costs incurred because of this restructuring. All of this is evidence that the forest industry is adaptive and innovative. You are responding to new and changing circumstances. However, to remain competitive, and an even deeper transformation must take place. Both government and industry share an objective of a strong, competitive, and sustainable forest industry that keeps jobs in Canada. Government must be helped create to hosting conditions that make success possible. But governments can also assist in areas like helping to attract investment, investing in areas that position the industry for the future, and taking leadership in research and development. Today, I'm announcing a $127 million investment to ensure long-term competitiveness in the forest industry. Thank you. This investment will help our forest industry become a leader in research to develop new technologies and products, attract investment, and develop and seize opportunities on a global scale. First, our government will invest $70 million over the next 2 years to promote forest innovation and investment. This funding will be used to consolidate your Forest Research Institute, create Wood Fiber Center, and invest in forest innovation. Together, we have consolidated Canada's 3 forest research institutes, Papercan, Ferric, and Forintech, to create FP Innovations, the largest public-private forest research and development institution in the world. It will provide for greater efficiency and strengthen innovation, research, and development. It will also permit the forest industry to speak with a stronger common voice on forest sector issues, and this institute is accountable to you, the leaders of our forest industry. The funding will provide for pre-competitive, non-proprietary research and development, and more importantly, you, the industry, will set the priorities with respect to what research is most important for you. The second element of the forest industry long-term competitiveness initiative is $40 million for expanding market opportunities. This investment will focus on growing the offshore wood product markets, expanding the use of wood in North American non-residential construction market, and promoting value-added manufacturing. We want to ensure that our marketing programs are responding to the needs of your industry, and I can assure you today that we will continue to work in partnership with you to align our shared goals and priorities. We will build on the success of the existing Canada Wood program to partner with provinces and wood industry associations across Canada to share and expand export opportunities in offshore markets. The Quebec Wood Export Bureau, based in Quebec City, will be a major recipient of funding. It has been a key advocate for the renewal of Canada's wood and has helped open new wood export opportunities for Quebec firms in the United Kingdom and also in Asia. A new North American wood initiative will partner with industry and provinces to address the challenge facing the wood industry and capturing more of the North American non-residential construction market. Further, a redesigned Value to Wood program will partner with the newly consolidated Research Institute, industry, and universities across Canada. The program consists of technology development and transfer components and is designed to improve the productivity and competitiveness of the value-added wood sector in Canada. Laval University is a prime recipient of this funding and has been instrumental in developing new wood products that have helped create employment opportunities throughout Quebec. This redesigned program will focus research efforts on developing new products and improved manufacturing processes in product areas where Canada has demonstrated competitive advantage. As well, based on discussions I've had with Minister Corbet and my other provincial colleagues and members of the Canadian Council of Forest Ministers, the funding announced today will provide $12.5 million for a national forest pest strategy. Canada's ability to successfully address native and alien forest pests is a critical element to ensuring the prosperity and long-term competitiveness of the Canadian forest sector. Let me close by saying that the elements of this long-term competitiveness initiative do not constitute a silver bullet. Instead, they are strategically designed initiatives to address specific challenges. The challenge you face are characteristic of a long-standing and successful industry that finds itself in a new circumstance, that is being called upon to reinvent itself, not merely to survive, but to thrive. While we recognize that we cannot solve all the issues today, we look forward to receiving EPAC's Task Force report on competitiveness and to working with you to address your concerns as we move forward. I am convinced that success will come with increased innovation and a willingness to seize opportunities. And I commit to you that I will be there with you all the way. This is only the beginning. We need to work together to look where the future is 5, 10, 20 years out. And I will be there at the cabinet table, hopefully, for that entire time. But you have my pledge that I will be a very strong advocate for your industry. I will continue to listen and work with you and ensure that our forest industry remains one of the best in the world. Thank you very much for inviting me today.
Minister, we introduced you saying there's two types of politicians, those who stand up for the industry and those who don't, and we knew you'd stand up for us. We could also say there are two types of politicians, those who get it and those who don't. And you, Minister, get it. You understand that we don't want subsidies. We're not looking for subsidies. What we're looking for is a business climate that allows us to do business, for markets that allow us to do business. And with this market development money and research money and the sorts of things your government's doing around the areas of taxation and regulatory reform, we know we'll have that business climate so that we can compete. Thank you.